Arr! Shiver me timbers! Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game. I know, I'm sorry but I'm not sorry. Piracy is afoot today on Boulder Bay. We've got two fantastic players, two fantastic civilizations. We've got 3DB spawning in on the east side of the map in orange, playing as the English. And his opponent on the west side, playing in pink. Whammo 1 as the Mongols. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Boulder Bay. And what promises to be a fantastic civilization matchup. Both civilizations, well, actually, I'd say one civilization very much known to be strong on water. The English, of course. Historically, you know, civilization-wise, it's been very strong on water. And the Mongols, though, I think they've got a couple of secrets up their sleeves. But before we get there, we are on Boulder Bay. And there is something very important I have to talk to you all about. And that is fishing. More importantly, fish and chips. I know you guys, what you're thinking, why is he talking about fish and chips? But it's very important to me. You guys may know that I am from England. Okay, it's not that important, but I just want to have a conversation because not much happens at the beginning of the game on water maps and you've got to fill the time with something, right? So, yeah, I mean, I know that we have a very international audience. It's pretty awesome to see, actually. People watching from various different countries. And many people think that the English do enjoy fish and chips, and I think they'd be right, you know? And I want to hear from you guys. I think the thing about fish and chips generally is a cuisine and food. I think it'd be hard-pressed to call it cuisine, but food. It's one of those things you have to be in the right mood for, you know? It has to be like a kind of a... I see fish and chips being on two scenarios, two situations, two environments, if you will, two moods. One being a very cold winter day, like kind of having that comfort food, you know, potatoes, fish, that's fried, of course, and it just keeps you nice and warm and cozy. And the other one is at the beach, at the bays, at the Boulder Bays, no less. And I would love to hear from you guys. Have you guys had fish and chips? And what do you think? Do you enjoy it? When do you have it? What's your take on the food? It's you know, it's a very common thing to think about when you think of England. Obviously, we have plenty of other foods as well, like, you know, roast dinners and Yorkshire puddings and whatnot. Cornish pasties, of course. I'm bringing out all the stereotypes today. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about fish and chips. Is it something you've had, something you enjoy? When do you have it? In any case, let's focus on the match because we are on Boulder Bay and things will be starting to heat up very soon because both civilizations, of course, going for the water, you kind of have to really at this situation in this map. But something's interesting to talk about these two civilizations. Well, the English, they have the unique tech Admiralty for them. So it increases the range of combat ships by +1. That can really make it quite nice to micro, got that little bit of a range advantage. And I think it's very strong for the civilization. Not only that, though, they do have cheaper units. So they, you know, for example, the galley here, 81 food, 135 wood. And if you compare that to the Mongols, that's going to cost them 90 food and 150 wood. So definitely cost savings there. But where I think things become really interesting in this matchup is the fact that the Mongols, they have the ability to get sort of naval arrow slits very easily. And it comes down to the Ovu. So the Ovu is a building that can just constantly generate passively some stone. And what you need for arrow slits is stone. You need stone and wood. And that's super important because, you know, for the English to be able to invest in a similar sort of thing, they have to actually build a mining camp, have to send villagers to actually mine stone. And, you know, that's villager efficiency that could be elsewhere spent. Now, we see a bit of an early horseman harassment for the Mongols as well, trying to pressurize that dock. And I like this play. It's going to force B into dealing with this somehow, either by getting naval arrow slits or making some spearmen early on. To actually add things into the mix as well, it's going to be Silver Tree, the landmark of choice for the Mongols to go up to the next stage. And that's super important as well because, you know, trading is always an option on this map. You've got the neutral trade post in the corner. And I think that the Mongols have a lot of options to them. But specifically on water, whilst they have more expensive boats comparatively to the English, I think there is one particular technology that really sets them apart. And it's one of the reasons why I started off with a pirate intro. And it's because of piracy, this unique naval technology for the Mongols. It means that every ship that they kill, they get 25 wood and 25 gold. And that, I feel, is really, really important. And the main reason why is because, well, when you think about the options for the Mongols, one of them is trade, even on this kind of map. And, well, the crazy thing is that when you are aggressive as the Mongols and you get that technology piracy and you start to win on water, you don't even have to win. You just have to trade effectively. You know, take even trades and you'll be getting a net benefit. That's the kind of crazy thing about the Mongols in the water. Like, they can get 10 kills and lose 10 ships, but they'll have a net benefit because they'll be getting the resources. And the thing that's interesting to think about conceptually is the fact that the Mongols today as well have gone for the trade landmark. And, well, what do the ships get? What do you get when you kill them? They get wood and gold, and that's exactly what you need for a trader. So I think the economy can really be quite strong for the Mongols as long as they trade evenly on water. They can really kind of spiral out of control and get those trade ships out, the trade carts out. And I think it's important to think about in this matchup. The English, I feel, in some ways, therefore have a lot less going for them. Because, I mean, what do they get, really? They get cheaper units and they get admiralty, the increased range. And the thing is that having cheaper units means that they will obviously be able to mass out more units. But the way to win water is to really overwhelm your opponent. You have to win water by basically taking them off water once and for all. It's actually quite difficult to do when you consider the Mongols will have narrow arrow slits. Like if they don't have narrow naval arrow slits, then it becomes a little bit more easier. But you know, when you've got the defensive position on those docks, it's very hard to kill them outright. Every single kill, every single ship that the Mongols take out, they get resources that could be pumped into trade. Now, I don't know what's actually going to end up happening in this match and how that will pan out, whether that's something that WAM will deal with. I'm theory crafting, and I think it's a good strategy for Mongols on water. I think a lot of people sleep on the Mongols when you think about water prowess and superiority. Obviously, there are some civilizations with a bit more kind of stronger benefits, like the Rus. But I think the Mongols are really strong on water, especially with that upgrade. We can see already Springald ship coming out. War junk harassing the fishing ships here. It's going to be double dock opening for B. It's just the one dock for WAM at the moment, but he's got a decent number of fishing ships himself. Got 8 of them. Oh no, I take that back. The second dock here, I didn't see that there. But yeah, second dock comes up. And so really for WAM, I think at this stage is on water, just don't lose. Just don't lose and take effective trades, and then you can pump out traders. And he's already got one coming out, which is very nice. So the economy is going to really spiral out of control, I think. Got a demolition ship, 2 Springald ships. He's about to engage, but there is a galley there, I think. That does back off now. So the galley might look to take out the demo ship, tries to get in there. Villagers, fishing ships are idled a little bit, 7 of them. That's actually pretty big when you think about it. 7 fishing ships is a large chunk of the economy for the English at the moment. Now, the other thing to think about is the land aspect of things. There's a lot going on in this match. We've got a couple of horsemen and the Hardened Khan constantly trying to be aggressive and put pressure. There are a couple of spearmen invested there for 3DB and the outpost. This is going to be a very difficult game to cast, and that's because of the fact there's so much going on. There's the land battles, there's the water battles, there's the trade to think about, and I think something that the WAM's doing really, really nicely is that he's keeping his opponent at home, right? And I wonder whether B actually knows about the trade. He probably doesn't, to be honest. It doesn't have the silver tree scouted there. I mean, he may have seen the landmark go up when it was built, so there could be always something in the back of his head. But to get out onto the field for the English is actually pretty difficult, because just the way that WAM played this, he opened up with horsemen, forced it into spearmen. That made, forcing B into spearmen is really, really strong, because these guys don't move fast, and so if you want to get out onto the cross of the map, it's a little bit difficult. I think WAM might be looking to get some outposts, as we can see he is. Maybe looking to get some archers as well, just to counter the spearmen that are on the field. But bit of aggression coming in for 3DB. Tries to microwave back the weakened ships. Something that's important for B is just to try and not lose ships, because every time he does, he runs the risk of giving resources away. Alright, sorry about that, we're back. Dropped a few frames there for a few seconds. It's very hot in the UK at the moment. I'm running a bit of a potato PC, but we're back online. A bit of a push coming in for WAM. There are no worms here. WAM pushing this back quite nicely. It's going to be killing a lot of the ships. Now, the question is whether he's got piracy or not. He does. He's got actually researched piracy, so every ship that he kills right now, he's getting wood and gold. And I think it's such a strong technology, especially if you can just keep the fight on water for a long period of time and get a lot of kills. As long as he keeps it a stalemate, it feels like he's always going to get a net benefit in terms of economy and resources. Alright, the Hulk moving forward there a little bit by 3DB. The kind of 3 Hulks to 3. Or 1 demo ship there. 2 demo ships, actually. This could become with a lot of explosives coming out. I want to see whether... So the thing about water, the issue is that Castle Age doesn't actually bring you all that much. It does give you a couple of technology upgrades, maybe incendiaries for the incendiary ships, the explosions. It gives you 20% explosion range. Could be pretty important. But I think the benefit, obviously, Castle Age will be primarily on land. Not that either player are looking to that anytime soon. But with a decent number of traders now on the field for WAM, this is going to pay off very, very nicely. He's got 6 of them. And behind this, I'm not sure B is aware of that. I think once he finds out, he's going to be a bit worried, because he's going to need to push that. Could be an option for him to go to Castle Age. Obviously getting a lot of gold, which does fund a bit of the Springald ship production. But it does seem like he's got a lot on gold, so maybe thinking about going to that Castle Age at some point soon as well. Things have died down a little bit, but I suspect not for too long. There are a lot of ships here for WAM, actually. Holy smokes, he's got 6 of them. 6 springle ships. No galleys. It looks like he's going to go primarily for springle ships and the demolition ships. Might be looking to get a bit of an engagement here. Holy smokes, did you guys see that? Bit of lightning issue. It's just moving out of the clouds there. Alright, he's going to just constantly pester. Maybe think about taking engagement, but he's just backing off. I think the thing is, it doesn't want to really dive in when there's such a big defender's advantage. I wonder whether Wham actually invested in naval arrow slits in the end. Not in this one. Not in this one. Did he get in his first dock? He did actually get in his first dock, so he was always pretty much safe at the beginning of the game. But looks like the cheaper ships coming out for the English is really helping him. Got a large navy there. On land, things are looking a bit more aggressive for Wham. Moving forward now, looking to keep B at home. And the trade is starting to really get online. Let's just check on how many he's got now. He's got 8 traders. Very, very nice for the Mongols. And it's very tricky for the English because it's hard to overwhelm on water and it's hard for them to overwhelm on land. And the reason why is because of the map control that the Mongols get with the mobility. Those early horsemen, I think, really dictated the fight and the kind of the way this game is playing out. I think it's not to be underestimated. You know, when we talk about the 2 horsemen there just being aggressive, stable opening forces B into the barracks and just less mobility, less mobile units for the English, and kind of gives them that dominance on land. But maybe dominance on water is where B might actually come into the game. He's holding off for now. I think Wham is quite happy to hold off, knowing that he's got trade, knowing that his opponent's on 1 town centre is engaging here. Takes the villagers off of gold. That's actually pretty huge. Does he have another gold vein to go to? Not really. That's a problem for B because he's not going to be able to afford any springled ships. Because of that, what Wham might end up doing is actually taking into galleys. If you can get the galley type ships, the arrow ships, that could be huge because springle ships is going to be a bit more difficult now for B now that he's off of gold. Here we go with naval arrow slits coming in that dock as well. Very difficult to push now for B. Uvu is now depleted. We'll need to relocate that. Not really a problem. Also healing up his units. I think B feels the pressure a little bit. Back at home, no villagers back on gold just yet because the army here just constantly looking to be harassing. The lack of land army for B is kind of hurting him in the situation, and you know the eco really scaling here. 12 traders, 3 already in the queue. It's looking pretty impressive. He's also going for the boar for food. Wham! So he's not just going to rely on the fishing economy. He wants some meat to go with it. Well, I guess fish is a type of meat. Looks like engagement's going to be about to happen. Wham dives in a little bit. Oh, a lot of demolition ships. Will they get off? He gets a couple of them, 2 of them, and another one. Oh, this could be big. He takes a couple out, but perhaps not as much as he wanted there. B. Now he has to back off a little bit. Can't obviously dive underneath the naval arrow slits. And he's going to back off for now. Might lose a couple of ships, though, if he's not careful. He doesn't want to do that. Oh, demo ship coming out for Wham. Doesn't really achieve all that much. Pushing it a little bit further forward. Winning the waters a bit more here, Wham. It does back off, though. I think Wham has a really nice game sense here. He has something in mind. He knows he's got trade. He probably considers himself ahead in terms of economy. And so it's just about Wham holding on. I think really the initiative has to come from B from somewhere. Whether it be like an early castle age, which doesn't really give him much on water. That's the thing. It's kind of interesting how on water, aging up doesn't give you all that much, but on land it gives you a lot. And speaking of aging up, it's actually going to be the Mongols going up with the Kurultai. It's demonstrating the Mongols how strong they can be on water. We traditionally think of, civilizations like the English, the Rus, being strong on water, but it looks like Mongols today, especially on Boulder Bay where you can get the trading. They're looking very, very strong. There's a couple of Keshiks, a couple of archers. There's that castle age. Now B, I think the trouble for B is that he's got to do something, right? He's got to pressure something. He's behind on economy. He's behind on military. He's behind on tech. Oh, he's not behind on military, rather, but he's behind on the tech up. On the castle age. But yeah, he might look to try and pressurize on water. Probably be ill-advised just sending 2 springled ships on their own. They might be getting sniped. On land, though, trying to be pushing back the outpost. I think B is actually trying to push on land a little bit. He might come across the trade very soon. And I think he might panic after that because he'll be wondering how long has that trading been happening for. Predominantly springle ships versus springle ships. We don't see all that many galleys. I do wonder, therefore, whether we'll see some big demolition ship shots. Because that's the next natural alternative in terms of tech switches for these 2 civilizations. It makes sense to get demo ships to deal with all these springle ships. It's a natural counter. We do see a couple of more hulks adding into the mix for B. He does have a lot of military. Here come the demo ships, though. 1 there for B. Doesn't achieve all that much. 2 there for Wham. Trying to get a good hit. Does get... No, it doesn't really contact for the one in the north. One in the middle. Might get a good hit. Oh, decent hits there. Oh, two very weak ones. Can he get them? That would be critical. If he can get those, that's another, like, 50 wood, 50 gold for him to come in. Now, what's interesting as well, actually, if Wham adds in a couple of galleys, if he snipes out these demolition ships, he's actually going to get bounty for them. He's going to get 25 gold and 25 wood. That's actually pretty big, because it doesn't take all that much to actually kill these incendiary ships, these demolition ships. Problem on land, though, for Wham, he's got an issue here. A lot of units on the field for B, taking care of the army and then looking to take out the trade. Especially with the range of longbows, that could be dangerous. Wham having to deal with the things on water as well. Demolition ship shop gets on pretty well. But every ship that Wham kills, he gets resources, not to be underestimated. The bad thing about Wham is he's got to be cautious. He could see some demolition ship shots coming out from the 3DB. Demolition ship shots. Imagine trying to say that 10 times. A lot of the traders do go down. He's dropped in numbers. He's going to need to keep them alive. 17 though still on the field. He needs to bring them back. He's kind of trickling them in. You can't blame him because he's got so much going on the waters. He's diving in pretty heavily. Doesn't have any naval arrow slits coming in for these docks, and that's the key bit of detail. A huge demolition ship shot. B comes in with a clutch play with the reinforcements coming in. The defender's advantage might get another one off as well. He does. He does. He gets another two. Massive pushback by B. But they keep trading. They keep trading. Wham's still on water. Don't forget, it's very difficult to get Wham off water completely. All of these docks have naval, well, not all of them, but a lot of them do have naval arrow slits. On land, a lot of traders have gone down. The outpost keeping some alive though. The trouble for B is the man-at-arms. Now the man-at-arms naturally going to be coming in for the Mongols, virtue of them being in the castle age. And those man-at-arms can do a lot of damage. It does have a lot more military on the field though, but they're predominantly, well, they are feudal age units, right? So it's feudal age versus castle age at this point. I would love to see Iron Undermesh coming in for Wham. He's getting it. He's getting the incendiaries upgrade. Incendiary ships gain 20% more damage. That is going to be absolutely huge. These explosive junks, we could see some big shots coming in. Now this is something that B doesn't have access to, right? He's not in the castle age. So he needs to get to the castle age if he wants to get that. I might go down. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to keep him alive. Just about. With 37 HP. Malantar's pushing this back, keeping the trade alive, and I think that's a big difference maker. The trade staying alive is so big. An interesting state of the game. Well, Wham has a better economy, obviously with the trade, but B does have a lot more military. The trouble is he's behind on the age. Here comes a big engagement, possibly. We shall see. I think the incendiaries upgrade has come in now for Wham. A good decent number of demolition ships do detonate, but not all that much damage coming out of it. Another one tries to get an attack there for B, doesn't quite manage it. Another one goes too, and each ship that B loses, it's such a kick in the teeth, isn't it, with the piracy upgrade there for the Mongols. He is kind of lacking numbers here though, Wham, but he might have some big demo ship shots. He's going to get a good one there. Gets 2 damaged pretty halfway, but perhaps not as good as we would have wanted, at least in any case, for the spectacle. But 2 demolition ships, 3 there on the back line for B. He might be looking to dive in with this. On land, a bit more aggression for the man-at-arms. I think the man-at-arms, they're just buying time. I don't think Wham is really looking to kill B on land at any point at this stage. At this stage anyway, 20 minutes into the game. He's just kind of delaying things, pushing that army back, making sure that he can continue that trade nicely. And as long as he keeps a decent number alive, he'll be fine. But he's kind of retreating at this point. B with the heavier numbers of military, and it's essentially funded because he didn't invest in the castle age, and he didn't need to. But there is going to come a point where these man-at-arm numbers are going to be becoming very overwhelming, especially as he's now getting iron undermesh. In fact, he's going to get wedge rivets. He's already got iron undermesh. Getting wedge rivets is going to be super important. I think B will struggle. He will only have steeled arrow. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult to deal with those man-at-arms with longbowmen, that is for sure. He's going to need some crossbows, but here comes some springle ships there for the Mongols. Oh, a lot of demolition ships there for B. Can he get a good landing on these? That's going to be critical. 2 go down. Oh, he's not going to quite make it. No, he doesn't. That's unfortunate. And don't forget, that's like 100 wood, 100 gold that just came in there for Wham. It's actually kind of bonkers when you think about it. The springle ship's going further forward for Wham. Looking to get some good kills if he can. Get some more bounty on land. Wham is pushing him with the man-at-arms. Well, B's adding his own man-at-arms, but these, of course, are the feudal age equivalent. Bit of a standoff on water. Springles versus Springles. A couple of demolition ships coming in for B. but not getting close enough, you feel. And even though the springle ships don't do all that much damage to the demolition ships, when you've got this number, they can just about take them out before they're getting hit. Galleys have been added though for B, but he's losing some. He's losing some very cheaply. It loses more demolition ships. Oh, this could be a big hit. Wham! Got the incendiary upgrade. Gets a good few ships there. On land, the gold is in a rough spot there for B. If he does get pushed off of gold, that could be curtains. The question is though, would he get pushed off of water? The new Khan rises back into the fight. Here comes the demolition ship. Oh, it's going to get a good shot off. Decent one. Two more. They trade pretty evenly there on the north side of the screen. But I think Wham actually is winning water again. Trouble is, demolition ships might be coming out very fast. Defender's advantage will be huge. Does he get a good hit? Decent. Could be better. That was a decent shot. This could be a situation where Wham goes in for a killer blow. Don't want to move away from water. But we always have to check out what's happening on land. Here comes some more demos there for B. Oh, this could be a big hit. That is a huge hit. Takes out about 2 or 3. Absolutely massive. That's actually kind of worrying for Wham. Despite being in the castle edge. Oh, he might get his own back. He's got 3 of them there. Oh, he's going to be pulled away just for 2. He might get them. He might not even. We'll have to see. He backtracks. 2 more there for B. They're spreading out everything. He does get those 2 in the end, so a decent trade-off overall. Now the thing is, it's interesting. Every demolition ship shot, Wham's getting a lot of value. These guys cost 80 wood, 80 gold. If they just get 1 hit, 1 kill, they recover a little bit of their cost. Looks like B trying to be aggressive again on water, but he just needs a massive force. And the question is, how does he fund that? The economy 102 to 79 because of the trade. Let's take a look at the trade now. It's been pretty untouched for a while now. 26 traders. Certainly the pirates for the Mongols, they're doing a great job against the English. They're struggling to fight those pirates. It's working quite well out there for Wham. Question is whether there's an opportunity here for B to go to the castle age. He has the gold. He doesn't quite have the food. Now one thing that's been considered as well, that I mean, the water is strong in terms of fishing economy, but the English do have farms. So I would be interested to see if B does look to get a bit of a farming transition. This is a concern for B. I don't think he can take this fight. Not with the Wedge Rivets upgrade on these man at arms, the castle age man at arms. It has to back off for now. Does have his own man at arms that can deal a bit of a punch, but again, it's just facing castle age versus feudal age units. And that is pretty rough. The concern for B though is that if he does take up to the next stage, castle age, that gives Wham the signal to be aggressive. Holy smokes, he's really building up the number of incendiary ships. 7 of them. Yeah, the numbers of man at arms now looking a bit overwhelming for B to deal with. And he sees the trade going on for a long time. A bit more aggression on water. Demo ships there for B, trying to chase and catch up. He gets a couple of hits off, but not as much as he would want. And the demos now for Wham might start to retaliate. Good hits though. Oh, this is good. This is good value. That's a huge demolition ship shot. He takes out fishing boats as well. Problem is, he's being pushed back now again. Does have some galleys though. I like the addition of galleys there for B. It's actually pretty helpful. Oh, it's about to get close. Might get a hit off there. No, doesn't quite manage it. The galleys saving the day for the English. A really back and forth game. Full of man at arms were trying to harass the trade route. Didn't quite manage it. But look, you can see this how tanky this man at arms is. Very difficult for B to deal with. They're actually having had to venture out pretty far forward for wood as well. Looks like B maybe looking to try and see out the game. Quite a few weak ships there for Wham. He's taking the engagement. Mostly Springwalds versus Springwalds. A couple of galleys sprinkled in there, but they are backing off now for B. Yeah, he has to back off. He's losing too much. He doesn't have that kind of killer blow there on water just yet. And it's going to be difficult. As the game progresses, Wham's trade is really going to start to kick in. A large number of man-at-arms. The longbows are going to try and save that wood line, but again, they're just tickling. He needs to tech up. I think the trouble for B is that he's reluctant to stop producing. I think if he thinks he stopped producing, he's going to die on land. And the trouble is, he might die anyway. Good thing is the man-at-arms, they are acting as a good meat shield for B. On water, more demolition ships coming out. I don't think B can fight this. He doesn't have enough. There's quite a few demos there for Wham. Gonna get close. Okay, well B's taking care of it a little bit. Oh no, it's a good shot. Takes off. Yeah, that's a great shot there for those demos. Huge amounts of bounty coming in from that as well. It's a question of timing. I think he's got a large army here, B. I think timing now could be in his favor to go to that castle age. He just doesn't have the resources. You can see in the top right. He's got a good food economy, but he's spending a lot to try and stay in the game. But at some point, these units need to be upgraded. Here come another batch of man-at-arms for Wham. Demo ships can't get close because of the galleys. Almost looking pretty bad actually on land. The man-at-arms, they're just not enough there for B. They're being sprinkled in by Wham. And let's see how many traders he's got now. 33 traders on a water map. And even on water, it looks like Wham is starting to build up in good numbers. Might be looking to take a killer blow. 27 minutes into the game. B's done well to hang on for now, but how long can he last for with that trade going on? Large number of springle ships. Now it does feel like this is the timing where Wham, his economy might start to really kick on and do a lot of destruction. He's got the unit numbers. The real question is, will he have enough for that killer blow? He's got the coral tire packing up and moving across the map. I think he's going to be looking to be seeing this game out. He's going to look to try and deny the wood. Actually, let's take a look at what the wood situation is. It's very sporadic there for B. He's really struggling on that front. Here comes a big engagement on land. I think actually B holds on for now. He's winning on land. Well, he's holding on land actually. I wouldn't say winning, but there it is. B taps out. He knows his beat. I think he understands the trade is getting out of hand. And well, fish and chips was on the menu for the English today, but it looks like the pirates coming from the Mongols are stealing it all away on Boulder Bay.